Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz. I'll be guiding you on this journey today. And I've gone back to making like little intro videos to put at the beginning of each reading. So that's what this is. And I'm stalling because I can't remember what I was actually going to say in this intro. Memory. Anyway, okay, here we go. It's all coming back to me now. Couple things. I'm going to stick to just doing human design profile readings for the time being. I also am going to start doing readings by type as well. So, there'll be a reading for manifestors, there'll be a reading for projectors, there'll be a reading for generators and manifesting generators. I'm pretty sure I'm going to keep those in one reading for now anyway, until I feel differently about it. And then reflectors as well. So I'm going to add those readings in, but I just, a little birdie told me to stick with those. And I think, honestly, in great part because those are the readings that I actually get like a response on, and there's more engagement in those readings that I put out. And that's what I want, and being a manifesting generator myself, right? It's responding. So, instead of doing the zodiac signs and the human design profile readings, at least for the next little while, I don't know how long that'll last until a birdie tells me to do differently. And obviously that birdie is like my intuition or like my own like personal guidance, right? But that's what I'm going to do for the time being. And I think like part of why I haven't necessarily done that sooner is because I really haven't been engaging with or like super I don't know, whatever the fucking word is. Like, how annoying is that? To not be able to find the right word. I just haven't been as in the realm of human design as I have been with astrology. Like I've been spending a lot of focus on just understanding astrology, and especially like my own astrology. And so I just really haven't been engaging with a lot of human design content. Like I really haven't been keeping on top of it. So as a 5/1, I think I just feel a bit insecure about making that the prominent thing. And I honestly, I can't even say that's going to change. Like I'm not saying that like I'm going to start diving heavily back into human design just yet. I know the basics. I know all of the shit that like I did learn before. But yeah, that is the truth. That is the truth that I haven't been as on top of that as I have been on top of astrology. I mean, obviously, astrology is also included in like human design, but anyway, that would be getting into a bit of like semantics. So, from here on, for however long, I'm just going to stick to doing human design profile readings. The 333 readings are still available. Those are the only that's the only offering that I have right now. Like, I'm not doing longer form, or I'm not doing one-on-one like personal readings for the time being. I had a couple people email me about a personal reading, like a longer form personal reading, and I just don't feel called, or it just doesn't feel good for me to put energy into those for right now. For whatever reason, I mean, I do feel like I'm in this like transitionary phase, and I'm like literally in the middle of it, like that liminal space, and I just kind of feel like I need to kind of keep my energy like focused on whatever is going to unfold, like with that. And for whatever reason, it just doesn't feel good to offer, like I said, like anything basically beyond like those 333 readings. So, which is also like kind of scary, right? Like, because I'm like, ugh. I could use the money right now. I could use, really, ultimately, I could use the money right now. Like, that is the truth of it. I could use the money, but that is the only thing, like and that's not like a very good, that's not a motivator that like feels good, for me right now. So the capacity that I do have is, again, the 333 readings. The basics of that is that it's $3.33. You would Venmo me $3.33 and include your email address, and I will pull 2 cards for you. The first card would be the door, or that's basically the obstacle or the opportunity, or the thing that you are standing in front of, or the thing that you are coming up to in your life. And then the key would be the guidance or the advice, or how to work through that obstacle, or rite of passage, or whatever. And the readings that I have done on those so far, and thank you to those who have requested that offering, they have been so amazing and so cool. But it is a written reading, so you'll get a PDF with a picture of the tarot card. The interpretation that I have for it, and then any overall like thoughts or things that I kind of picked up on in those cards too. So again, like I said, the ones that I have done have been so amazing and so cool, just the way that things have unfolded. And the people who have gotten those readings, there's been great feedback from those readings as well. So thank you also for that. And I'll put, of course, an explanation of that in the description. Yeah, really quick then, because this is long as hell all of a sudden. Let me just introduce the decks that we're going to be using. The tarot deck is the Wandering Moon Tarot, and I was going to say the affirmation deck, which I guess that it is, but the Oracle deck that we're going to be using is the Inner Fucking Peace deck, and my sister actually sent these cards to me. So yeah, let's get into the reading. Great. So this is a reading for, who are we doing? Generators and manifesting generators. Let's go with that. If you don't know what your human design type is, there is a link in the description for you to get your human design body graph, and your type will be listed on there. Also, be sure to check out your profile, your human design profile reading, if you haven't done so already. I feel the need to like get grounded. Like I needed to put my both of my feet on the ground, sit up straight. 10 of Wands. What else for generators and manifesting generators? The 9 of Cups. One more. Three of Swords. And then we have the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Interesting. I have yet to see the 3 of Swords come out in any of the readings that I've like done so far. Oop. That was too many. Just one. It says, fresh out of fucks and embracing inner peace. The wine is helping. Beautiful. All right, let me just kind of stare at these cards for a minute. I think that it is actually really interesting that the 9 of Cups is in the middle of what would be considered like, tougher cards in tarot. I mean, there's no bad cards in tarot, but there are, obviously, just energies that kind of encompass all of our human experiences, And also what's interesting is that the 9 of Cups came out for the manifestor reading that I did yesterday. I think it was actually the first card that came out. And I was on my way to this sisterhood event at this community that I'm part of. And I literally saw a fucking shooting star. And I shit you not, I probably had like 9 wishes that I was like... I just I couldn't choose one. So I was like, this. And then I was like trying to think of like, how could I encompass all of that into just like one sentence, But anyway, I can't even tell you the last time I saw a shooting star. And I was also like in that reading, I was like, do people still like make wishes on shooting stars? Is that still a thing? I can assure you that for me, that is still a thing. So, so interesting. So interesting. But yeah, okay. So we have 2 10s out here as well. We have a 9, which, so, 10s are like collective completion. 9s are more personal, individual completion. It's almost kind of like, the difference between the king and queen energy. Like queens are, when we embody the energy. Kings are when we share it with other people. 9s are when we reach a point, I almost said satisfaction, which is interesting because the opposite of the not self theme, which is frustration for generators and manifesting generators, is satisfaction. Feeling satisfied, feeling energized as well. feeling fulfilled, which is a lot of, 9 of Cups and 10 of Cups energy. That comes as a result of following our strategy and authority, waiting to respond. And then, of course, it would depend on if you have like emotional authority or not. And of course, a difference between a manifesting generator and a generator is having the throat connected to the sacral center. Like having a defined throat and it being, somehow connected to your sacral. I'm like, what is mine? We really all should just like have our charts up. Let's see. Oh, duh. I have the 1020 channel from the throat to the G center, and then I have the 214 from the sacral, or from that G center to the sacral. I'm like, how does that connect in my... I have a completely open head as well. So that's what, I'm assuming that's why I can't fucking remember shit. So anyway, so like I was saying, like it's interesting that we have like these two tougher energies flanking the 9 of Cups. And it's almost like, the 9 of Cups would be the foundation, the goal, the aspiration, and again, with it being a 9, it is individual. So, it's your wishes coming true. It's you feeling purposeful and fulfilled. It's you having your desires met. Whatever those things, those individual things would be for you. And I mean, we do have 9 shooting stars on here. So there could be multiple areas of your life that are being impacted or are being affected in some capacity. There could be multiple areas of your life that you want to affect change in. And it could even just be, like one thing, like a domino effect, right? Like one thing would affect the other thing, that would affect another thing. But like all of the dots connect together. Like it really is making sure that each area of your life is working for you, or is, like through your own image of what you want it to be. It would be following even your desires, even like intuition as well. Cups have to do with our emotions, love, our relationship to love. How do we receive it? But more importantly, how do we give it? Because a lot of us, backwards. How do we receive versus like, how do we give? Because, maybe that was like a Freudian like slip or something though. It could go either way. But most of us have an easier time offering support or, like offering compassion and grace to other people than we do with either giving it to ourselves or receiving it from other people. So again, just your relationship with that. Even like areas of your life where you could potentially be giving too much and not getting as much in return. And this would be more like focusing on yourself, and instead of getting outside validation, confirmation or affirmation, whatever, right? Like instead of looking for that source of happiness and purpose outside of yourself. You're like, I have it within me to do. And with these two, the 10 of Wands, the 3 of Swords, the 10 of Wands is like burden and burnout. I also, I see Wands as being information by way of experience. It is the card that talks about taking action. It's the motivation behind the actions that you take, creativity, passion. How are you communicating those things? What actions are you taking towards those things? But I also see Wands as, again, being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. We get information. We figure out what works, what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? Where am I getting not enough in return for the actions that I am taking? Even and especially too, this is to me sacral energy, because just because we have a defined sacral doesn't mean that we can't burn out, right? And especially if we have been putting energy into things that we don't feel excited about, or that we don't feel, spark and joy and what did I say? Excitement? Can't remember. Shit. And especially if we also recognize that we're feeling more frustrated than we are satisfied. What is the definition of satisfied, actually? Hello? Content. Pleased. That's it. I guess. To be satisfied means to feel content and pleased because your needs, your desires, or expectations have been met, leading to a sense of fulfillment where you don't need anything more at that moment. Though it's different from intense joy of happiness and often relates to specific outcomes or goals. It's a state of having enough, a quiet pleasure rather than exuberant joy, and can apply to anything from a good meal to achieving a long-term goal. I think maybe too, and I'm glad that I looked that up, because I think maybe because of conditioning, maybe, we want to have these grand, I know for me personally, we want to have these grand feelings of, we expect the feeling of fulfillment or joy or satisfaction even to express itself more as exuberant joy or intense happiness, right? And if it's just a feeling of being content or pleased, that kind of seems to be more, level keeps coming to my mind. It's it's not extreme. It's just level. I don't know. I keep doing this with my hands. Level. I don't know. Hopefully you get what I'm meaning by that, because I don't know how else to explain it. So anyway, I was talking about this 10 of Wands, and sacral beings can burn out. As a sacral person who has burnt out, and also that was because I was in a job for 5 or 6 years longer than I should have been. was either doing or not doing things that I know my body or like my intuition wanted me to do, you know? So even like resisting could cause burnout as well. But it's like one of those things. It's one thing to recognize and like experiment with your strategy and authority. It's another thing to honor it, because sometimes it doesn't really make sense. But truly, like, your strategy and authority is designed to help you enter into the quote unquote correct experiences for you. And being a sacral being, like, you are meant to follow what lights you up, what excites you. You're literally only designed to follow a yes and honor the no. It's not just saying yes to everything, because just saying yes to everything will create burnout, because now you're putting yourself in situations you know you didn't want to be in, but whether it's people pleasing, judging yourself, FOMO, whatever, not, feeling bad, like feeling like you're letting somebody. I literally just had this experience this morning. A friend invited me to go ziplining, and I immediately I got a no. But I am emotional, so I'm like, okay, initial response is no. Let me go through my wave. And I honestly never, well, let me take that back. I was going to say I never actually went on the opposite end of a yes. I did, but it was like my mind being like, you should just do it, because FOMO, like, you should just do it to do it. Why not? You're not going to die. I mean, I better not, but it's never 100%. That's not why I didn't want to do it. But I just, like, it was like the yes was me trying to talk myself into it, not any other reason, and then it also, like, when I came to my neutral point of just being like, I just don't really, it's just not my thing. I just don't really want to do it, Then it took me like forever to figure out like how to respond, because now I'm like starting to judge myself and like, God, I did finally send a text, and it was fine. It was great. It's just, the spiral is like so pointless, but, and I feel good about my decision, because again, like, if I would have done it anyway, that would have been me not honoring myself, like not following my own strategy and authority. And that it wouldn't have given me energy. Even if I would have been like, oh, I actually had a really good time. Even then, right? Like, even then, it still would have been, I did not honor my no. I told her that I'm an amazing cheerleader and video taker. So I would totally go with her and support her through it, like cheer her on from the sidelines. And I would take videos and pictures for her. But I just don't actually want to do the thing, right? That is what feels good. That would give me energy, right? So again, like with this 10 of Wands, and I'm kind of curious, like, there are these two hands here. Two hands each hold a cluster of 5 crystal wands. It's difficult for one person to hold all of these crystal wands. It represents the heavy burden that is being carried. All these burdens stopping you. Are these burdens stopping you from clearly seeing the whole picture? Why are you willing to keep everyone happy but yourself? We all know the toxic byproducts of people pleasing. Bro, you have already taken on this enormous burden and shown tremendous inner strength. Honor that by caring for yourself. overwhelming burdens, taking on too much responsibility, lack of support, family pressure. And also, I mean, this could be fresh out of fucks and embracing inner peace. I know we haven't talked about the Three of Swords yet. We're moving into that. But I truly do believe that this reading as a whole is talking about you recognizing where you have condition. I mean, the whole thing with when you start human design is about deconditioning. It's recognizing where beliefs, ways of being, patterns, behaviors were placed on you, and how we have like really kind of gotten away from following our own system, our own design, right? And it's like a blueprint to help you reclaim or like get back into how does this energy, work in my life? Like, how does that come through? And I have no doubt that even before you found human design, regardless of how familiar you are with it, that in your life, you were in some ways following your gut. You were following a yes or no, however that was coming through for you, right? Because with, the sacral, there is an audible, I believe, or what do they call it? I can't think of, but it's an or an it may not just be like a yes or no. Like for me, it is a yes or no. But for other people, it's expressed as or so again, experimenting with how that comes through for you. Maybe it's just, like a sinking feeling, or a feeling of excitement, or, that goes through your body for a yes. Or maybe again, it's like the sinking feeling where, like your stomach like drops into your feet or whatever, like that feeling for a no. I mean, it would depend on you, of course, and recognizing what that is. But again, like with this Nine of Cups card here in the middle, the focus has been on what makes you happy. What wishes do you have for your life? I literally looked up the definition of a wish. Feel or express a strong desire or hope for something that is not easily attainable. Want something that cannot or probably will not happen. Okay, well that's a desire or hope for something to happen. That's better. What did that say? Want something that cannot or probably will not happen. Bro. Maybe. I mean, maybe that's why the Ten of Wands and the Three of Swords are flanking the Nine of Cups, because maybe there is some sort of pessimism going on there, which very much part of the process, very, very valid. I mean, that comes from waiting for the other shoe to drop. That comes from many wishes not coming to fruition. Like that comes from also just not feeling purposeful and fulfilled in other areas of your life. And especially like with the Three of Swords over here, we'll start talking about that. I mean, there's three swords going through this heart here. The swords have to do with our mind, our thoughts, our mindset, which would be that want something that cannot or probably won't happen. It's our belief systems, truth, honesty, but like divine truth, like absent of emotion. It's something, like based on fact, logic. I also see swords as being the suit of ego, because that's generally where we tend to hear our ego is in our minds. And our ego is created by the situations, the events, the, circumstances, situations that we've been through, and our mind creates a meaning to those things. Like my friend just gave me the phrase meaning making machines. Like, humans are meaning, like our brains are meaning making machines, right? Which I love. I love an alliterative, is that the word? Phrase? But that's this. And that's, Brene Brown calls them gremlins. It's shame, it's guilt, it's, doubt, fear, anxiety, it's, limiting beliefs as well. This card talks about rejection and heartbreak, of course, and, betrayal, but it's more about the stories that we are attaching to those experiences. Maybe there has been things that you have had a lot of passion for and a lot of will for, because I'm not talking ego in the human design sense, because there is an ego center, and maybe you have a defined ego, which is will. And like if your heart is in it type of thing, or more of a question like, is your heart in it? And maybe there have been cases where your heart was in it. You did have the will for it, but maybe it didn't work out the way that you thought that it would. And you attached a meaning to it. All of this, though, feels like it is being like put under consideration, because we truly can change our minds like as often as we need to, right? Like as soon as we discover something within ourselves, even, whatever this story is, if you are like, that's not my story anymore, right? Like that's not true for me anymore. I can understand why at the time I would have attached that meaning to it and believed that to be true. But now I'm recognizing the impact that it's having on my overall inner peace, and even, the actions that I take, or why I'm doing the things that I'm doing. And that belief, like I don't believe that to be true anymore. Which is even too like this 10 of Cups. I love that there's like two 10s on top of each other. So, we have the card of, burden, burnout, and then we have the card of community, joy and bliss, this would probably be like the satisfaction card. It is feeling purposeful. It's also too like how that feeling affects everything else around you, because like I said, with the 9 of Cups, like maybe there are multiple aspects of your life that like one is going to be impacted by making a change to another, right? But they're all connected. It truly is, though, because it's your fucking life, right? So like the way that you feel about yourself is going to affect how you feel about the people in your life, about, the job that you have, the extracurriculars that you do. And, and all of those things also feed back into how you feel about yourself. It's all like connected, right? So it's like considering all those different things. And again, like the 10 of Cups is the satisfaction. I also love that there's these mountains here, because it almost kind of feels like more organized, or something like that. I mean, generally mountains in tarot represent like a journey. But it feels like there's organization there. And also, that there's 6 mountaintops here. Not that that necessarily matters, is just like where my brain is going, but it's like the important things, that quote unquote important things, right, that you determined to be priorities in your life. And it doesn't obviously have to be 6 different things, but this would even be like honing in on what your priorities are. Like, what are the things that you do want to give the most attention to, that are, again, like equally giving you energy back. It's giving you that sense of fulfillment. It's giving you that sense of satisfaction. We should play that satisfaction.
First beer of the wedding.
Is there enough for everyone?
Oh, right there.
I got this.
Push me, and then just touch me, till I can get my satisfaction.
Anyway. I love a song with a beat in it too. So I don't know. I mean, maybe listen to that whole song in your free time. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles on top of the 9 of Cups, which I also fucking love. It's like, the 8 of Pentacles is recognizing the need to focus your time, your money, your resources, your energy, your physical presence, in order to master a thing. I always I was like looking at this card as, them about to pop this one star, like, this needle was going to pop this star like a balloon or something. But actually the book talks about embroidery. Like she used this needle and thread to make the star. And yeah, I mean, it's literally, literally creating and designing your own life. And it maybe even too, like, routines, daily routines. It's creating new muscle memory as well, because that's literally what we're doing when we repeat things, or like, in order to master a thing, we have to repeat it a bunch of times. That's muscle memory, right? Muscle our brain, muscle our bodies. So this is, again, it is dedication. It is prioritizing. This is prioritizing on the emotional side of things. This is prioritizing in the physical plane, like literally your body. Like, where are you showing up in your life? How are you moving throughout your day? Where is your money going? And again, even honoring your strategy and authority. What are you What's a yes? What's a no? And how are you honoring both of those? And then we have the Hierophant with the Three of Swords. I think it's interesting that there's 3 crowns on this card, because also, I mean, the crown chakra keeps coming through these readings. Like, it has a few times, more than like literally any time before. And the crown chakra is clarity, ideas, I mean, of course, in the realm of human design, we don't make decisions from our headspace or root, because they're pressure centers. Like, an idea enters our mind, and then there's the immediate pressure behind it to do something with it. But instead, we let it go through our strategy and authority. And is it something we take action on now? Or is it something we file away, or something that we stick a pin in? And we wait for life to give us something to respond to in regards to that. Or maybe it's just, you have a conversation with somebody at some point and you're like, oh shit, I just had this fucking idea or realization or whatever it is, and because maybe it was for them and not for you. But that's why, we let it go through our strategy and authority before doing anything with it. But anyway, it is interesting that there are 3 crowns, and there's, on top of like the 3 of Swords, it's almost like, it feels like to me it's turning into wisdom. The book says, I will teach you the spiritual lessons and impart the wisdom you seek on your life's journey. I will be your earthly connection to the answers from the divine for the questions that you are sure to ask. Conforming traditionalist, unwavering faith, organized religion, teacher. 3 crowns represent the 3 realms which this divine masculine figure rules over: the subconscious, the conscious, and the superconscious. Below the crowns is a symbol of the crossed keys. The keys signify the need we have to unlock the delicate bridge work between our conscious and subconscious worlds. The keys are topped with 3 moons representing the maiden, mother, and crone, aspects within us that are needed if we want to understand the vast mysteries within us when exploring the worlds of our inner self. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it really, it's like the 3 of Swords would be shadow or not self, right? And this would be exploring what stories are in there. And what to do about them. Again, like we were talking about, what is true for you now, right? And it's like taking control over those stories, being in control of those stories. Even like just the awareness of whatever they are, and making the mental, decision to be like, that's not something I want to conform to anymore. And then like with the 4 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, it just feels like it's like in your grasp. Holding on. Sticking with it. Staying present. Even remembering what it is that you are grasping. And also, I mean, that would even become clear with the 3 of Swords and the Hierophant. Like, if you are changing your story, if you're changing the meaning, right? It's like holding on to that, having it in your grasp. Maybe even, like writing it down, like having it somewhere that is present for you, like, writing down your why. And also, like allowing that to change if it needs to. My why right now is blue bamboo, If it changes or if you add more to it, then just, write another line. Like, but just making sure that it's present. And I'm going to go because I literally heard in my head, like, shut up. And then I started coughing. So thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.